else. But Eric Rosen apparently beat a GM in 14 moves with the Stafford Gambit.
Oh no, please no, not more Stafford.
Oh my goodness.
No, I can't do this.
Hey everyone, just want to make a quick video sharing one of the highlights of my day today. I just played the World Blitz Championship in New York City. It was 13 rounds of Blitz chess. Games started at 2 p.m. They ended, I think, after 8:30 p.m. I'm recording this 10 minutes before midnight. And at some point, I'll make a longer recap of my whole experience at the World Rapid and Blitz Championships. But I do want to share one of the highlights, not only of today, but probably of this year, maybe even of my lifetime. Because in round 12 of the World Blitz Championship, I played the Stafford Gambit, and I defeated a Grandmaster in 14 moves. So I want to share that game. It came in round number 12. This is actually the last game I had with the black pieces. And it was on my bucket list to try this opening at some point throughout the event. And I was paired with Sergey Erenburg, who I actually played in the Rapid Championship a few days ago. I had the white pieces against him, and I beat him with the London. But this time, I had the black pieces. And when pairings went up before the game, I did have a little bit of time to check his repertoire. And I did see that he plays e4, and he's had a lot of games in the past that have entered this position. And when I looked at his games in the database, all of his previous opponents have played pawn d6. And I actually checked his games in the database, like tournament games, but also his chess.com account. And I saw that he's never faced knight c6, Stafford Gambit. So I went for it, played knight c6. Obviously, this is dubious. I think this is the first time ever that the Stafford Gambit has been played in any sort of World Championship event. But when I played knight c6, I felt good because he started thinking here. And it was pretty clear that he wasn't prepared with the refutation. And after a few seconds of thought, he accepted the gambit, which made me happy. There's other lines like knight f3 or d4, which aren't as exciting, but white takes a knight, takes back, and this is the best response for white. He plays knight c3. I play bishop c5. And this is a position I've had online, maybe close to 1,000 games. I'm just going to check my stats real quick. So I've had this position. Can I just show it here? I've had this position 964 times on Lichess. I've had this position, okay, over 350 games. Going forward, my opponent plays bishop to e2, which objectively is not the best move. And the reason why this is not the best move is black can win back the pawn right away with queen d4, castle, and then knight takes e4. But I wanted to go for a more devious, a more evil trap. And I played the move pawn h5. And after the game, I was rewatching the Chess24 broadcast. Jan Gustafsson was criticizing me for not knowing the best move.
This is terrible, terrible news. h5, even Eric Rosen, he doesn't know how to play his own stupid Stafford. Oof.
But I knew the best move, queen d4. I just played h5, trying to set up this trap, which I have caught GMs in the past, mainly online, maybe some games in Title Tuesday. But the point of this move is to set up knight g4, and white has to be very, very careful here. I think the best move here is pawn d3, but my opponent played pawn h3, which on the surface looks like the most natural prophylactic move to stop knight g4. But this is already very, very good for black, because now I play queen d4. And of course, I'm threatening mate. My opponent castles. Better would have been rook f1. We'll see why. But after castling, I now have knight g4. And this is the first of a few sacrifices this game. I'm sacrificing my knight to open the H file, very reminiscent of a fishing pole trap. And white doesn't really have much of a choice here. I'm attacking f2 now 3 times with a knight, queen, and bishop. I guess there are a few moves. There's pawn takes knight, there's bishop takes knight, there's also queen e1. But in every line, black is having a huge advantage. So my opponent played the most, maybe the most logical move, just take the knight with a pawn. And after I take back, I've won a lot of games where white plays d3, which my opponent didn't do. But if d3, black is mating by force. Queen e5 threatens mate. g3 doesn't help because queen takes g3 is checkmate. F-pawn is pinned, and there's actually no way to avoid the inevitable here for white. So for that reason, my opponent played pawn to g3. And I should mention, this whole game was prep for me, maybe up until the last move or two. But this is still a position I've had many times before, and this is still part of the opening trap. I play queen e5, threatening mate in 1, and after king g2, black has a brilliant move here, and this is the only winning move. Black wants to continue the attack. I've seen games in the past where people play queen h5, which looks good, but that runs into rook h1. And black actually runs out of steam here. So going back to this position, the best move for black is to sacrifice yet another piece, and the move is bishop takes f2. Sacking the bishop, but completely destroying white's king side. And I blitzed out all my moves this game pretty much. I have more time than I started with, and my opponent was draining a lot of time on the clock. He thought for a bit, played rook takes f2 with 20 seconds left, but the time situation is the least of white's worries, because after queen to h5, there is a deadly threat along h-file, threatening mate in 2 with queen h3, king g1, and queen h1 mate. I do briefly want to show if king takes f2, then there's an even funnier line here. I would have rook h2, king e1 gets mated, and if king e3, there's queen takes g3, king d4, and then just bishop e6. I've shown this in so many videos on my YouTube channel in the past, this exact position. I've probably had some games from this position. Clearly my opponent has not watched my videos, and yeah, I think there's a lot of grandmasters out there that just don't watch chess on YouTube, don't follow the meta of dumb opening traps, and goes to show that sometimes, yeah, these sort of players can be targets in these opening lines. So yeah, black's completely winning in this line. Castle queenside is coming with check, even though black is down 2 pieces. White's king is asking to get mated. So let me show what happened in the game. After rook takes f2, I play queen h5. Opponent plays bishop to f3, creating the square on e2 to potentially run away. So now if I check on h2, the king kind of slips away. If I check on h3, king goes back and the bishop covers h1. So there's not forced mate here for black, but I do just win back a piece. I take the bishop, and then my opponent played queen takes f3, not realizing that black has mate in 1. I play queen h1 very quickly, and that was a game. Checkmate on move 14. Yeah, what more to say? It was a small tragedy for my opponent, just stumbling into a very nasty trap. We didn't really talk after the game. I could tell that he was maybe slightly shell-shocked, but this sort of thing can definitely happen, even at the biggest and strongest of tournaments. And yeah, it was a nice way to finish the event. This did occur in round 12. Again, I'll probably do a much longer recap of the rest of my games at a later time, but I finished the day on 5 points out of 13 games. I gained some rating. So anyway, hopefully this serves as a lesson also serves some entertainment value. And yeah, beware of the Stafford Gambit. Very evil opening. Stay tuned for more. See you guys soon.
GG, Eric. Congratulations. Yeah, nice stuff. Bishop f2, Queen h5. My heart is broken.